Story 1. Do not go into debt. If you have credit cards, pay them in full each month. If you must obtain an auto loan, choose a less expensive car than what you can comfortably afford. The same applies to a mortgage. Spend less than what the calculations indicate you can afford and make extra principal payments. Story 2. Staying with a partner simply out of fear of moving out or for the sake of the children is problematic. As you grow older, this situation can become increasingly unbearable. Children are resilient. They will understand that it is better to have a father who is present once a week than one who is constantly irritable. Story 3. Ignore pain. You can walk off a lot of things as a teenager and in your early 20s, but it doesn't go away. Instead, it waits until you are 30, 40, or 50, and then reminds you one morning when you wake up and suddenly a knee, a shoulder, or a hip doesn't work right. Story 4. Believe you are a special person who will navigate through life with your passion and charisma, without relying on discipline. Story 5. Try to avoid sticking too rigidly to your life plan. No matter what you do, things are going to turn out differently than you expect. Enjoy your life. Live it, don't just plan it. Story 6. Waste all your money. I think it's important to enjoy yourself when you're young to an extent, but I saved no money and thoroughly regretted it. Save as much as you can while still having a good time. Story 7. Start smoking. I understand why people can't stop when they are already addicted, but I don't understand why they start in the first place. Story 8. Smoking, drinking, being complacent by not engaging in physical activity, overeating and maintaining bad eating habits, choosing a highly stressful career, using illegal drugs, alcohol and possibly THC, not getting enough sleep on average, and choosing an unsuitable partner and remaining with them are all contributing factors to poor health. The list goes on. Story 9. Don't spend every penny you have. Save it wisely. I have a coworker who is like this, and he plans to retire at 55. I wish I had made better life choices. Story 10. Continuing to play sports while having recurring injuries is a bad idea. I played football, broke my leg, and bruised my tibia the next year. I dislocated the other leg, and my knees never fully recovered due to the constant weightlifting and strength demands of a defensive lineman. I should have quit. Story 11. Using cannabis before the age of 20 can lead to significant mental health challenges, even with occasional use, as the brain is still developing and forming neural pathways. Story 12. Don't fall into analysis paralysis because life will pass you by. I also stop when I have too many choices. Story 13. Never criticize your previous employers. If you do so once, most recruiters will find out about it. Story 14. Smoking negatively impacts your lungs and is detrimental to your appearance. The resulting wrinkles can be quite unpleasant. Story 15. Do not waste your time waiting for someone who will not prioritize you. Whether it is a romantic interest, friend, or family member, do not put your life on hold. Story 16. Do not play contact sports. I loved playing rugby in school and as a young adult. I am 49 years old and still occasionally experience lower back spasms. It is not worth it unless you are a professional. Story 17. Drinking alcohol consistently can lead to serious health issues. Not all signs of kidney disease manifest early, but consistent alcohol consumption can eventually reveal them. Even if you quit, your history of alcohol use can still cause significant problems. Story 18. Marrying the wrong person can ruin your life, but marrying the right person can lead to a lifetime of happiness. Choose wisely. Story 19. To thine own self be true. Regardless of the circumstances, your lies will come back to haunt you. In this age of advanced technology, there is no place to hide. Lying is habitual. If you must lie, consider becoming a career politician, a religious leader, an actor, or a fiction writer. Truth seems to matter less in those professions. Story 20. Take care of your ears and back when you are young, and you will thank yourself 20 years later. Do not assume your hearing will be fine. Wear your earplugs. Do not sit directly in front of the speaker. Stretch regularly. Never compromise on your mattress. You spend a third of your life on it, and having a mattress that does not support you correctly can quickly lead to waking up with chronic pain. You can manage with an old car and secondhand clothes, but never buy a cheap mattress. Story 21. Not taking care of your teeth can lead to issues. Now my teeth are stained, and I might need a crown. It's unrelated, but why doesn't regular insurance cover it? Last time I checked, my teeth are connected to my body. Story 22. Smoking will kill you. My wife works in oncology. While not everyone who smokes gets cancer, almost every adult with cancer has smoked. Those who do not get cancer often die earlier from cardiovascular diseases. You will die from it. Story 23. Another important lesson is to never leave a situation sour with someone you care about. Always remember to express your feelings to those you love, including pets. Leaving on harsh words may weigh heavily on your heart if something happens later. I once told my cat that I didn't have time for him and to go away. He went outside and sadly passed away. These days, I don't mind being late for something. I always take a couple of minutes to tell my current cats that I love them, to be safe, and to give them a gentle pat on the head. I also parted with my beloved grandmother after a harsh exchange, and shortly after, she passed away from a heart attack. Now, I make it a point not to hold back my feelings with friends and loved ones. I tell them the nice things I think about them, that I love them, and that they are cherished and special in my life. I strive to avoid parting on harsh or sour notes, as you never know if those will be your last words to someone. Story 24. Let the opinions of older people guide your life. You will likely outlive them, so make the most of your time. Pursue what you want while also being someone who helps those around you. Story 25. Gaining excess weight can have serious consequences for your health. The increasing number of individuals affected by obesity has made it easy to overlook the detrimental effects on the body. It is important to take action now to lose weight and maintain a healthy lifestyle, or else you may face severe health issues, such as being hospitalized and losing mobility due to a stroke. Let me know if you have any questions. Story 26. Pornography provides the dopamine response similar to sex but lacks the emotional connection found in a real relationship. Gradually, you may begin to prefer solitude, as relationships often involve drama, while you receive that dopamine rush from pornography. This behavior can lead to social isolation, and you might find yourself watching pornography whenever you're bored, feeling down, or experiencing anxiety. Story 27. Smoking and alcohol have been significant issues in my family's life. My dad is a lifelong smoker. He knows it is terrible for his health but finds it difficult to quit, having smoked a pack a day for over 55 years. Any young person he meets who asks him for a cigarette is advised not to start, as it is a terrible habit. When you are young, you feel invincible, but by the time you turn 60, the damage to your body becomes apparent. Story 28. Being with the wrong person, accumulating bad debt, using drugs or alcohol, not giving your best effort every day, not achieving good grades, and failing to invest in your future. Story 29. My wife and I joke that we will try anal fisting when we turn 80 since we will probably be incontinent by then. Story 30. Getting regular health screenings and inquiring about genetic predispositions in your family history is important. I am a 33-year-old non-smoker, non-drinker, and an enthusiast of exercise and healthy eating. I recently underwent surgery to have a 2-inch tumor removed from my head. I believe I was partially unlucky genetically, and being more aware of my family history could have helped me avoid a month of neurological symptoms. Story 31. Skipping sleep takes literal years off your life, and your performance in any activity will decline significantly, often without you noticing. Some sleep researchers estimate that athletes who do not get adequate sleep may reduce their performance by more than 50%, and it could decrease by up to 80% or 90% without them being able to recognize the difference. Story 32. Do not skip using sunscreen daily, even in winter. The sun can damage your skin over time and make you look older, and it may increase your risk of skin cancer. Just apply the sunscreen. Story 33. Methamphetamine, heroin, having children with the wrong person, smoking, compulsive gambling, compulsive drinking, compulsive eating, in more or less that order. Story 34. Do not protect your ears from loud music, power tools, small engines, and other sources that can damage your hearing. Story 35. Not brushing your teeth and wearing sunscreen can have serious consequences. You have only one set of adult teeth, so it is important to take care of them. Additionally, getting sunburned significantly increases your lifetime risk of skin cancer. Story 36. Poor dietary habits, improper sitting posture, poor spending habits, accumulating credit card debt, excessive. Story 37. Becoming addicted to anger and outrage not only destroys your relationships, but also makes you susceptible to manipulation. You may believe and do whatever others tell you just to feed your anger. Story 38. Do not use your hand as a hammer. Wear knee pads whenever necessary, or use a kneeling pad. Stay sharp. It's easy to let thoughts create a pattern in your mind and begin accepting things as fact when they are simply what you have always known. Story 39. Getting caught up in the pressure to be in a relationship and prioritizing relationships over personal goals and development at a young age is a difficult habit to unlearn. Story 40. Do not max out your retirement savings. I wish I hadn't wasted 20 years of compounding interest and market gains. It is very hard to catch up. Story 41. Brushing your teeth is important. While it might not seem significant when you are young, the effects will become apparent as you age. Story 42. Taking out small payday loans may seem manageable at first, but they can quickly lead to a vicious cycle of paying them off and needing to take more out because you can't afford to get through the month after paying off the last one. I made that mistake and ruined my credit when I eventually started to default on them. Choosing to repay or go without is a difficult situation. I am glad the government intervened a few years ago to regulate this predatory business and hold them more accountable. Story 43. Playing sports with high rates of ligament damage takes a toll on my knee. It aches almost every night, and I'm not even 40. Story 44. Wearing cheap or narrow shoes can harm your feet, and you will regret it. High heels are the worst choice. Story 45. You know how sometimes kids sit with their bottoms on the ground and their feet out to the side so their legs make a W? Don't let them do that. My knees developed issues from doing that all the time, and now my kneecap sometimes decides it doesn't want to stay in place and it hurts. Story 46. Give up on yourself too early and for too long. Of course, this is more complex in practice because I am assuming none of us are psychic. But it's something to consider whenever you feel like throwing your whole self or your effort in the trash. It can apply to hobbies, career paths, education, dating, family and friend relationships, communication skills, financial discipline, daily living tasks, and more. Story 47. Don't use drugs. If you have any kind of addictive personality, it can disrupt the reward center of your brain and, at worst, completely derail your life. Cannabis and mushrooms may be acceptable in moderation, unless you are predisposed to schizophrenia, but going beyond that is risky. Stay away from opiates, amphetamines, cocaine, ketamine, nicotine, benzodiazepines, and alcohol. It is not worth the risk. Story 48. Drinking alcohol, smoking, and not getting enough sleep are taking a toll. I'm in my late 50s, and I'm witnessing friends who couldn't give up their party lifestyle now facing serious health issues. Story 49. This is really specific, but if you ever want to be an emergency dispatcher, do not get yourself a criminal history. Your application will go straight to the trash. Story 50. Protect your ears from noise. From concerts to a loud job, I damaged my hearing significantly in my early 20s and late teens. Now I hear a constant ringing 24/7. It is frustrating. Story 51. Don't let algorithms and artificial intelligence do all your thinking for you. Your brain can and will atrophy, and you will find that using it more actively becomes difficult as you age if you do not engage in activities that keep it exercised. You can do this by reading, pursuing creative hobbies such as writing, drawing, sewing, weaving, woodworking, sculpture, or any kind of craft. Actively choosing what you want to watch and engage with. Learning new languages and using them regularly. Playing with puzzles or games that challenge your brain, and actively engaging your imagination. Tabletop role-playing games can also help with this if you're interested. Story 52. Smoking, poor diet, lack of exercise, and binge drinking negatively impact health. As a nurse, I have seen how people's bodies keep score. The difference between an adult who has been active and taken care of themselves and those who haven't is significant. This usually becomes evident when individuals reach their 50s and the effects of their lifestyle choices catch up with them. Story 53. Let yourself gain weight. I don't mean slightly pudgy, I mean overweight. Everything is harder with a lot of extra weight. Story 54. Pretty much anything can negatively impact your job prospects over your lifetime. It is much harder to secure a professional job, government position, finance role, or any job requiring a security clearance if you have been arrested for anything beyond a minor offense. A driving while impaired conviction can prevent you from driving for ride-sharing services or working for a trucking company or school bus service. You might only find work driving an airport shuttle, going in circles all day long. Just keep your record clean. Story 55. I can rotate one of my legs so my foot points backward. I loved showing it off. Now, in my 30s, that is the knee that is always the first to give out or get hurt. Story 56. Please do not abuse dextromethorphan or engage in robo-tripping. I used it throughout high school, and today I have hallucinogen persisting perception disorder and several other mental health issues related to it. I feel like I'm watching my life play out on a screen. I have been dissociating since I was 13. Please avoid this drug. Once you want to get off, it's not easy to stop. Story 57. Eating junk food regularly, failing to get enough sleep or exercise, and neglecting sunscreen can have negative effects on your health. For more information on the consequences of vanity and youth, consider watching the recent documentary, The Substance. Story 58. Smoke, consequences be damned. I'm gonna have those cigarettes even if it kills me, and it just might. Story 59. Smoking, excessive drinking, poor eating habits, an irregular sleep cycle, lack of physical exercise, unprotected sex, and not saving or investing. Story 60. Old guy here. I have 4 important tips to share. 1. Protect your back. Lift properly. Use your legs, not your back. The majority of men I have met have back problems by the time they reach their mid to late 40s. Your back doesn't improve. It only gets worse over time. Chronic, crippling back pain can diminish your quality of life and lead to an addiction to painkillers. Protect your teeth. Brush for at least 2 minutes and floss. Water flossing is best. Every day without fail. Bad teeth can be painful and expensive to fix or replace. Protect your skin. Looking aged and weathered by the time you are 40 is not attractive. Additionally, melanoma is one of the deadlier forms of cancer. Start saving for retirement now. Even saving a little bit over a long time is better than saving a larger amount much later. If you can afford to eat, you can afford to save. There is a strong possibility that Social Security may not be available 30 years from now. Unless you want to work as a greeter at a retail store when you are 80, start saving now. What you do when you are young will come back to affect you later. Story 61. Avoiding responsibilities and personal growth can hinder your development. If you refuse to mature and take control of your life, you might struggle with basic independence, financial stability, and meaningful relationships as you age. Story 62. Work too hard because you believe you are young and your body can handle it. Your body will eventually respond negatively. Balance is key. Story 63. Date or marry a man aged 26 or older when you are an 18 to 21-year-old woman. If you must, please avoid getting pregnant with his child. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.